Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for another round of daily D&T. Yesterday's video was some BS. I'm still tilted. Still playing bad cards in our deck. That hasn't changed. Let's hope we can have a reasonable round where it takes less than an hour and I don't lose in the last 3 minutes of the round. Just elves? Are we just gonna elves? What have I done to deserve this week? Uh-huh. Yeah. So I probably need to remove the Birchlaw Rangers, otherwise, like, I could just, like, die in the next turn cycle. Could just die to a Heritage Druid instead, though. Would I trade Revoker for Nettle Sentinel here? Yes. Anything that would, like, just take a body off of the table and reduce the top deck power of a Gaia's Cradle is totally fine to me. Free damage. And now we play our Tribal Bird deck versus the Tribal Elf deck. Alright. Do I have all three of these? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I don't have anything to say. My phone's not doing anything. I have nothing to talk about other than my rage and hatred from yesterday's video. Yeah, we tried to play around that to the best of our ability by going and attacking in last turn, trying to offer that trade. I'm going to need to take a body off the table, and that body is probably Scavenging Ooze pre-combat. Then I'll attack in, give my opponent the opportunity to trade away another body. And then I'll play another Hawk post-combat. I wish I had another white source so I could, like, play Taranika and Swords to Plowshares. I appreciate the going through the motions of removing my Swords to Plowshares just in case I somehow get it back. But I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, my opponent does take the trade. Super happy to like reduce the amount of mana that their guy's Cradle is tapping for. Top decking a piece of equipment is about the best thing that I could do here. Alright. That's probably going to be about it this turn. They played their land. They don't have another mana producer. Yeah, that's not the end of the world. So we get to nug the guy's Cradle. And then this can turn some of my birds into 4/4s. So that's probably fine to play out. It itself is not going to do anything. Because like our opponent will just like block with Elvish Visionary, bounce it with Wirewood Symbiote. Hopefully we have them in a mana bottleneck where I don't just like die to a natural order. Never mind. We'll just die to a natural order. No, maybe not. No, I guess I still could. Grand Ranger, untap 1, bounce another, replay Heritage Druid, tap 3. Or no. Okay, there was 1 mana floating, so yeah. But they're just doing it the hard way. Alright, I've got nothing. F6. Just kill me. Just kill me and end my misery, please. You've given me the illusion of hope by letting me live until turn 5. So the only thing I can safely point this at is Wirewood Symbiote. Otherwise, any other creature is an elf, and Wirewood Symbiote would just bounce them. So we'll do this pre-combat. Now the question is, am I turning Mishra's Factory sideways or just producing a Squadron Hawk? It probably doesn't matter. I think I'll produce another body. Because I don't actually want to lose the land if my opponent would, for some reason, want to trade Nettle Sentinel for it. Because it eliminates my ability to top deck. A Enumazawa's Jitte. Alright, it only took us 5 rounds, but we did finally get a Taranika trigger. Did not feel particularly exceptional. Our opponent is past the mana bottleneck. So, like, they can already natural order for whatever they need. So, like, we're going to be dead to a natural order. And porting them is probably not going to do enough either. So like showing, they had 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you like untap one, you get a second activation of Heritage Druid. So like we're not going to port them off of anything that's important with a single mana source. Six. Bounce Forest. Untap a creature. Play, like, go up to 9 mana. We have a 10th mana if you need it. Yeah. And so my opponent could have made the forest land drop instead. Hold up, do I live through that? So that's 23 coming in. Now it's 20 coming in. Now it's 19 coming in. Now it's 18 coming in. Alright. So probably Deafening Silence, Pithing Needle, Stoneforge. We'll probably reluctantly toss the Batterskull into the mix. We have to decide if we want to Council's Judgment for, like, the Hydra, Progenitus. And we have to decide if we're going to Path to Exile. So Thalia sucks in this matchup. Sword of Fire and Ice is pretty bad in this matchup. Taranika, you know, also very underwhelming. But we knew that coming into this league. So what does me winning look like? Like, Deafening Silence into, like, getting some creature equipped with Jitte. I guess that's the game plan. We're normally not built to win this matchup, and we have even fewer tools than normal. Like, I don't have Sanctum Prelates and Recruiter of the Guards to find them. So this is pretty miserable. Mulligan. Yeah, we'll keep. We'll junk the Flicker Wisp. And given my mana curve, I'm probably going to want to go turn 2 Stoneforge into turn 4 play equip, but I'm also going to need the possibility of, like, turn 3 do something plus Wasteland. So I think I need to preemptively Pithing Needle Wirewood Symbiote. Because I don't have a flyer currently, so I can't beat the bouncing shenanigans that Wirewood offers my opponent. Alright. Opponent is going to draw a decent number of cards here because they're going to get an untap out of their Dryad Arbor. So they'll bounce Forest, untap Dryad Arbor, play another spell. A Birchlore Ranger or a Heritage Druid will probably let them go nuts. This seems unusual to me. So I think that was a suboptimal play. It doesn't matter because it's still very good. But by playing the Verdant Catacombs before using the Dryad Arbor mana, you, like the Quirion bounce Dryad Arbor mana, you lose out on the opportunity to play a Cradle this turn if you draw one. Well, I mean, I guess that's something. So we can play a Deafening Silence, end of their turn, put in Umezawa's Jitte, and then actually not connect with Jitte counters unless I use the Wasteland that's in my hand as well. Because Quirion Ranger Dryad Arbor is shenanigans as well that invalidates non-flying creature attack. Just natural order me and kill me, please. End my suffering. Yeah, well, that's not bad. Alright, well, there goes the Deafening Silence. Again. I also can't just, like, F6 because I need to play around Reclamation Sage, so I have to pretend that, like, I'm not dead. Alright, we're done. This week of daily D&T is over. This deck was absolute garbage. Taranika is unplayable. We knew that going in, but, you know, it's my job as a content producer to make these sorts of videos anyway. So this does not win you any matchups. This is not a powerful card. We made exactly one connection with its trigger over the course of the entire video. Otherwise, this was just like sideboarded out very frequently or pitched to Force of Virtue. Or just didn't get to attack because of like the Elks that were on the other side of the battlefield. So as long as Oko is a driving force in this format, this card isn't good. But even in most of the other matchups that we played that didn't have Oko, like against Elves, this is getting stonewalled. Against D&T, it is getting Caracas bounced. This card is very, very bad. And even when we tried to like build a deck that like does things to support it by making it bigger, by having extra protection for it, or by playing more things that like you might want to attack with on curve, that didn't matter. So don't put this card in your deck. That's the lesson of this week. Next week, we'll be back with the lesson of don't put Eidolon of Obstruction in your deck. And we'll see how that one goes. I hope you enjoyed my misery, and if you do, please consider supporting Daily D&T in the future. Thank you again, Crypt Rat, for supporting this week. Cheers.